it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So I know you haven't seen my face in a couple of days, so here it is. And today I'm going to do a black and gold look, and I will talk to you about what inspired me to do that look, or this look that I'm going to do. And I've tried to do this video several times, and this is the last time I'm going to try. And if it doesn't work, if I can't get it, then I mean, you're just not gonna see it, right? Okay, so I am going to start with a primer for my eyes. I'm going to go in with the shade Cork from the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Defining Neutrals palette. These are the shades I use the most, which I think it's like half or more than half of the palette. And I think it was last week or the week before, I took these shades to work with me, and rather than taking the entire palette, I just wanted something small. And that's why I used my kit pack. I'm going to use the shade Cork to prime my eyelids. Now, the reason that I am doing this look, black and gold, is because over the past week, I have been consistently and maybe incessantly playing the song Brown Skin Girl by Beyonce, St. John, Wizkid, and Blue Ivy. And I'm trying to remember what it was that inspired me to like have it on a loop. And when I say I played it back to back to back to back to back over and over and over and over, seriously. Rose probably knows the words to it by now. I think it was that, I don't know, I just heard the song and I was like, you know, I only know a snippet of the song. I don't know the rest of it. I don't know the verses. I just know the chorus. And so then I started listening to the full thing, and then I went and watched the music video and I saw the album cover, and it just was sitting with me all week. In the video, no, I'm sorry, in the lyrics of the song, you know, they said brown skin girls, or brown skin girl, your skin just like pearls. But it also talks about like your skin isn't only dark, it tells your story, like just all of these things. And it really, I think, just brought up like a lot for me. Not necessarily bad, not necessarily good, just fodder for therapy. Just about my own experiences with like skin tone and the history of skin color and skin color discrimination, and it just kind of stuck with me. Yeah, and so then I was like, maybe I should talk about that. I mean, I talked about it with friends, but I don't know, y'all. Like I said, I might not be able to do this video because it's so layered. So a bit of a history lesson. Well, colorism exists, right? Everywhere. All up and through. And some of us have had experiences, not great experiences, because of our darker skin. And the crazy thing for me is that I think I'm one of the lighter folks in my family. So I'm like, am I not just like medium brown? Like, so where to start, y'all, with the thoughts that I'm having? Let me take a moment. So one thing in this video is that I'm not going to be using base, probably like foundation, concealer, bronzer, contoured, blush, all the things. I'm not going to be using those because I really just want to focus on being in my skin. So, like, colorism has existed since slavery. Like, no joke. It's been here, woven into the fabric of our society for sure. From like day one. And there's been a lot of discrimination toward people with darker skin, right? Yeah. And I've seen it also within the beauty community when people have a difficult time understanding why some of us get a bit outraged about brands not having our shades. and all the BS that brands say in order to prove why. Like, oh, our darker colors don't sell well, or, you know, that's not the population that uses our cosmetics, which is BS. Okay, it's straight up bull donkey. And like, some people are just, well, I don't get it. Not everything fits me either, or not everything works for me either. But there is a historical context to why it sucks. Okay, back all the way back into slavery, like, there was a difference between like the let's call them tasks, the things that slaves would do, often based on their skin tone. The darker skin toned enslaved people were often in the fields. The lighter skinned folks were often like in the house, or doing like other less bad things. And that has that just doesn't go away in society. Like, I feel like I don't know, 10 years ago or something, people are like, oh, we're in a post-racial, post-racism society. I don't know what society they're living in, because that has not been my experience, okay? Like, there is research to show that darker skinned folks are discriminated against based on the color of their skin. So not only, like, racism is about like the group, right? Colorism can be like inter and intra group. It can be within your group. It can be between groups. You know what I mean? So there is colorism in a lot of different communities, and it is especially so in a lot of like Black and brown communities. You can see that by the fact that skin lightening products are so prevalent in various places. I went to the hair store, and there was an aisle of skin lightening, skin bleaching products. Just the other day, okay? Just the other day. Back in the day, probably still to this day, people would try to lighten their skin. They would like pray that their babies would be light. Just different things where the message was like, dark skin, don't have it. We're not here for it. We don't like it. It's not attractive. It's not palatable. It's not beautiful. Please get away from it as much as you can, right? And there have been different stereotypes against darker skin. And I want to say that I'm not saying that there haven't been stereotypes against other people, but there is colorism, and oftentimes it is affecting the folks who have darker skin. Like, there are these stereotypes of like darker skin people being like dirty, lazy, unattractive, fitting like the mammy stereotype of like just being a bigger, darker, unattractive Black woman that takes care of everybody and is uneducated. And then there are just so many stereotypes, and this used to be my research focus before I got into like working with assault survivors and things like that. So I'm very passionate about it. And, you know, a good amount of it is based on my own experiences of feeling discriminated against because of my skin color. When I was in school, like, I have a friend, we were like neck and neck with everything. Same grades, same classes, everything. And she was considered the pretty one, and I was considered the smart one. And a lot of it was based on the fact that I was darker, and I had like natural hair that wasn't like straightened or anything. And so that messaging, like, it starts really early, and then there are things that sometimes are insidious that sort of validate that colorism, right? Like, for example, going to the store and not being able to find makeup that fits your skin color, or going to the store and you can't find some pantyhose that are not like nude. A lot of those things have changed, and a lot of those things have stayed the same. I don't know if you've heard of the paper bag test. So there used to be this like thing that would happen where if your skin was darker than a paper bag, we're not going to deal with you. The people whose skin was lighter or the same, you know, they could be they could be invited to the party or whatever it is. Or there was like the blue vein test. Like if you could see the blue of your vein in your skin, then you were okay. You were good. And if you were darker, you were bad. So I don't know that people nowadays, like, colorism, racism, all of that is, I think it's a lot more insidious and a lot less like blatant, but it's still like the undercurrent of things. You know what I mean? Do you? I don't know. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know what I'm talking about, what I'm saying, but I do know that I'm going to go into the Decadence Mothership 4 from Pat McGrath, and I'm going to use this gold shade here, and I'm just going to use my finger to put it on. So basically, listening to this song and then watching the video and seeing people who look like me that I'm like, oh my God, that person is so beautiful. But realizing at times I don't say that to myself, like, it just put me in a space of like marinating on it. That's not the word. Focusing, processing, exploring. I don't know. I'm just thinking of different experiences I have had that have connected to my skin color and, excuse me, my skin color being seen as not cute. So here's that shade. Very gold. Trying to think of what else to say. And the experiences, especially within the Black community, the experiences of dark-skinned folks compared to light-skinned folks is different. It's been really interesting also as a psychologist and as someone who trains younger psychologists, like the conversations that we've been able to have, especially when I'm working with Black women or people of color, like about that difference in experience based on our skin color. Like it's, I really don't know if I am communicating what I would like to. And generally, I am good at communicating. And this is just like eluding me right now. One thing that has always been helpful is my dad has forever said, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Like, he was always very encouraging around skin color. Like, he could have went a little bit deeper into what that means. Yeah, but I know my dad is like much darker than me, and he's faced lots of discrimination based on that. You know, and I've talked to people, especially parents, who dread having to talk to their like child, their little dark-skinned child about navigating through the world as a darker-skinned person. Like, of all the things you got to teach your child, that's not one that you really want to have to think about teaching. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I know some people are going to be like, it's not a big deal, but this is my experience. And even on here, I remember there was a video where I think I used something to like mix with my foundation because I couldn't find just the perfect shade that fit me. And somebody was like offended that I did that. And I was just like taken aback. Like speechless. Like, do you not, like, what? I'm sorry. What do you want me to, how dare I, you know, like, God forbid. And then there have been things that have kind of upset me with, like, brands like Hourglass, where lots of people have been saying for years, like, can y'all just come out with something that works for darker skin? You know, and a lot of the makeup companies will say things like, well, that community doesn't buy our product, and we don't buy it because you don't have stuff for us to buy. And then there was a moment in time where, like, everyone was up in arms. And, like, we're not using Hourglass because they don't cater to darker skin. All of a sudden, they come out with one little thing that still doesn't cater to darker skin, and then people are like, whew, now we can use them again. So that, I don't know. And things like that happen to various communities. I can really only speak to the community that or the group, the marginalized group that I occupy. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to separate my skin color from my blackness and from my being a woman. You know what I mean? Like, it's all together. I remember this experience when I was younger, and the popo had to be called for whatever reason, and I was like really little, and I just remember these police officers being like, there's a little dark-skinned black girl crying in the house, and like laughing, and I was like, aren't adults supposed to be nice? And it just like made me really aware of my blackness and my darkness, and I was just like, what does that mean? And just the fact that there are all of these things, like, even professionally, you know, I've had people not want to, as soon as I walk out into the waiting area, I can tell they don't want to work with me. And I've been told people don't want to work with me because I'm black. And, you know, when I enter a room, I'm tall, I'm, like, dark skinned, sometimes I'm wearing my afro out, like, and that is apparently, like, unacceptable for people. And, you know, like, we all have implicit bias, and that's basically all the little thoughts in your head that you didn't even realize were there that make you think something about people. All the way back to when they did that little study where they gave little kids, like, a little black doll and a little white doll, and the black doll was seen as, like, dirty, ugly. Like, these are all, like, implicitly in our heads that affect how we interact with people. So if in your head you're thinking, ooh, dark-skinned people, when you interact with me, that's what you're gonna give me. You know what I mean? It's just, I really don't know if I'm explaining things in the way that I would like to, nor if anyone actually cares. And I'm pretty sure people are just gonna be like, whatever. And I know that I am actually invalidating myself right now. But it's just, it sucks. It sucks. And it's not, and it continues to suck. It's not, this isn't something that has gone away. Colorism continues. And it's very like, dude, just look at when Michelle Obama was more present and visible, right? And she was called so many things, and these things were based on her skin color, like being compared to a monkey and all of these things. And it's like, that doesn't happen when you have lighter skin. It happens when you have dark skin. And so I've had some experiences, and I have people in my life that have had experiences, and I mean, you know, this isn't the oppression Olympics, but arguably some of their experiences have been like more intense or worse than mine. And, you know, trauma is trauma, and so it affects all of us. But like, the fact that I have come across many clients who have sat in front of my face and said how much they hated their skin color, it breaks me. Not just my heart, like my entire body just like cracks, because I understand that feeling and the level of self-hatred you have to get to not like your actual, like, the skin you're in. I don't know if people can get that, how terrible it is. And it's not fake. And sometimes I have to tell myself, like, nah, girl, this is real. This is a real thing. There have been times, like, there was once where I was like So should I just not be a psychologist because people don't want to work with me because I come out, you know, black into the space? And I remember in high school when I was a cheerleader, I went to cheer camp. Child, that was a whole thing. And I think it was like the final pictures and stuff we were going to take, and the coach wanted us to all have the same makeup. And I'm not talking about we all wear like purple eyeshadow. I'm talking about the same makeup. And I was like, ma'am, do you see this? Do you see this? And it's also darker because I'm actually out in the sun. I feel like I got real light not being out in the sun in California. I can't wear this. You're not being inclusive by just telling me to wear the same thing. Like, let's not pretend that I'm not 10 shades darker than everybody on this squad. I was the darkest one. Come on. So I ended up just doing my own thing. I was like, I'm not gonna wear what they're wearing. That don't make no sense. And even when I was in one of my bestest friends' weddings, and, you know, I was like, can you just make sure that the makeup people can do makeup for someone with darker skin? And the makeup people were like, oh, yeah, we got you. They did my makeup and it was terrible. And not just because I'm like, this is what you should use. It was because they did not have the shades for me. And I don't know what the hell they did, but even the bride was like, girl, no. And I took it all off, and I did my own makeup. They also couldn't do my hair, so I did my own hair. So everybody is getting to sit down and be pampered and everything, and I'm over here like, well, I'm just going to sit here and watch you guys. And that also happened not too long ago when I was taking some professional photos when I worked at this other private practice before I went off on my own. And I went off on my own for various reasons. But we were going to go get professional photos. The practice was going to pay for it. I asked again, can you make sure that the person who's doing hair and makeup can do natural hair and can do a dark-skinned person's makeup? I get there. They can't do either of them. All she did was add a little bit of gel to my hair that I had already put up and added, I think, a little bit more eyebrow thing. And that was me. While everybody else is getting hair and makeup, blow dried, everything. And so it's just like, okay, so I can't have these experiences, right? Because you literally just don't care. You do not care enough you don't care. That doesn't make you a good makeup artist, in my opinion. Or just say we don't do dark-skinned people makeup so that I know. But whenever I'm doing something like this, like a wedding, a professional photo, I take my own stuff because I assume that they're just not going to have anything that caters to me. And that is not like, that's not the biggest deal in the world at all. But just these little things, I don't know why they're choosing right now to vacuum their car. Let me close this window. Anyway, so it's just these things that just, you know, it's that idea of the 1,000 cuts or whatever. It's just like chipping away at you, and it's hard. So then when I like sat and listened to this song and I saw the video, and there are just like these beautiful, beautiful women, various shades, but I saw shades that were like mine, and it's just, I don't know. Rosé, do you mind? It's okay, I'm good, girl. Bye, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for checking on me. This is probably too long, and I don't know if I've actually said what I want to say. I don't know if I don't know. Okay. I'm just talking about my experience and how this song it not only brought up like difficult memories and experiences, but it also just made me feel like good in my skin. I'm gonna try to remember to link the video so that you can watch it and, you know, it will have a different impact on everyone. But for me, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead in with this black shade Tourmaline. This man out here, yeah, I might ask him to go ahead and clean my car if he is pressed to be doing this right now. You know, and sometimes I do have to, like, look things up and be like, no, am I making this stuff up? No, I'm not. Like, there's research that backs up what I'm talking about. And I know because initially, at the beginning of my career, it's what my research focused on. Like, and I talked a lot about, like, the stereotypes of, specifically of black women, but also that included skin tone, that also included hair. Should I even tell you and get on you about the hair journey and body? Like, child, it's just, I don't like, it's just hard, and it's hard to continue to pour into yourself, essentially, and think highly of yourself when the entire world is like, nah, girl, this one thing, it's not good. We don't like it. It's ugly. And that thing is you. Do you know what I mean? It's just so pervasive. And we haven't even talked about, like, how I'm perceived because of my full name. Just stereotypically, I walk in, or you see my resume or something, and you know I'm black. There is research about that too, about people discriminating based on name. Okay? Like, dang, could I get a break? Again, I'm not saying that this stuff like this doesn't happen to other people or other communities. I'm speaking strictly about my own personal experience. Not necessarily, I can't speak for anybody else. I'm just letting you know where, like, the space I was in the past week and weekend. And, I don't know. It's really helpful, like, even though my father is crazy, girl, having him always just be like, because he was definitely discriminated against because of his skin color, him just being a tall black man. But hearing, like, the blacker the berry, sweeter the juice, like, there's just something about that that's helpful. And also, just the way G looks at me and appreciates, like, not just, like, he thinks I'm cute, you know what I mean? But, like, I know that he likes this. That sounds, I'm sorry, it is a little sexy, but also just, sometimes it's just hard to walk through the world as a dark-skinned black woman. I think that's all I'm trying to say. And it wasn't until grad school that, and starting therapy, that's when I started therapy, child. I should have been in therapy the moment I came out the womb. But, like, I used to feel like I couldn't go outside without, like, makeup and stuff, without covering myself up. Like, I would think, it's not attractive. Like, no one wants to see this skin. You know what I mean? Like, and being the smart one, but not the pretty one. Just all those things that have honestly sticked. Yep, they've sticked with me. They've stuck with me my entire life, and sometimes I continue to struggle with it, and I'm not in the space where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm loving all of this. I have, though. I could not tell you that I don't love my skin. I love my skin color. I kind of wish I was a little bit darker, actually, because I feel like since living on this coast, I've lightened up a little bit. I don't look sun-kissed anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know what I've said. I don't think I'm going to edit this. I mean, I'll probably just take out the part where I was kind of yelling at the person outside, asking them why they vacuuming their car right now. No one needs to hear that. But I don't know. I just wanted to say this stuff. And I appreciate you listen, Rose. Ma'am, I am okay, girl. Okay? Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't even know what I was saying. You got me all confused, ma'am. Okay, so there is that. What am I gonna do? Rose, remove yourself from there, please. I am going to go into this shade here. I'm just gonna blend the top over the gold. What keeps me happy is that I know that I have a backup of this that Tracy gave me because she loves me. Ugh, praise Jesus. Okay, so I'm going to do my brows really quickly. So I would be curious to hear, I don't know, if you just want to say hi. I don't know what I'm looking for, honestly. Tomorrow at 3, I will process this with my therapist. Even that is hard. It's just hard. It's just hard. It's hard to carry that, like, historical piece and know that it's still something that happens. And it's like, wow, really? Damn. And so also, you know, I cannot support anyone who doesn't like who I am as a person. Black woman, child of immigrants. I can't do it. As if hate is based on how I show up, the literal color of my skin. It makes no sense to me. It really makes no sense. And it is painful. It feels unfair. It's a burden. And it sucks. So I think I said I'm not going to put any foundation, concealer, all that jazz on. Just the eyeshadow and brows, and I'll put on some mascara. I just want to remind myself that I don't have to cover up who I am in order to be considered worthy or beautiful or important or smart or capable or funny or sexy. You already know. Or just, you know, it's okay to be me. So I'm going to try to wipe some of this fallen shadow off. And I honestly don't know what I talked about. I couldn't tell you. I feel like I was a little dissociated. Because it's, you know, not easy stuff to talk about. Or it's much easier to talk about it in a professional context than to come on here and be like, let me tell you on my journey of trying to live the skin I'm in. I've definitely seen changes, like in terms of, I'm gonna put this Pharmacy Honey Halo moisturizer on just because my skin's dry. In the acceptance of like dark skin and even natural hair, child, that was a journey, is a journey. There's been, I guess, improvement and acceptance, but like, we have so far to go, yet and still. No one should have to grow up questioning why people don't like them because of their color. Like, it's mind-boggling. I don't know how, it's just, ugh. I am going to put on some mascara. This is the Huda Beauty One Coat Wow. This is one of my favorite mascaras, along with the Fenty Beauty Hella Thick. I like both of those. So, I don't know. I guess who needs to hear this and needs to watch this will. And who doesn't, won't, and will not. Don't expect. I think a lot of people get uncomfortable, like, having some of these conversations. And I can really appreciate that I have people in my life that can have these conversations. These, like, painful conversations. And these painful experiences. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I think I'm done. I think I'm still going to go with a bold red lip. This is the Kiss Me liquid lipstick from Monet Cosmetics. So here's the finished look. I went ahead and put that liquid lipstick on, the shade Kiss Me from Monet Cosmetics. And on top, I put the clear glaze ColorFix from Danessa Myricks. And that is it. I appreciate you listening to me. I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.